I'll call to order the Glendale Redevelopment Agency meeting of June 21st, 2011. May we have a roll call for the redevelopment agency, please?
Agency members: Friedman.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Nukian.
Here. Can we have your report?
Agenda for the June 21st, 2011 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Thursday, June 16th, 2011 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. At 4, we have the approval of minutes. Could you read 4A into the record, please?
4A is the minutes of the regular redevelopment agency and joint city council redevelopment agency meetings of Tuesday, June 14, 2011.
Okay.
I'll move the minutes.
Second. Roll call for the minutes.
Authority member, agency members: Friedman.
Here. Yes.
Yes.
Najarian. Quintero.
Yes.
Weaver.
Aye.
Chairman Nukian.
I'm here as well.
Can you
yes.
vote yes?
And a yes.
Thank you. Next is oral communications. The same 5-minute rule will apply to speakers and the rules regarding debates or decision.
Okay. Mr. Milano, followed by Mr. Mike Mohill.
Redevelopment Chair Manukian, members of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency. My name is Herbert Milano. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of attending a couple of the programs that the city of Pasadena had. One was a musical program, a venue that attracted hundreds of people. The other was a sidewalk chalk art program that was truly outstanding. I took plenty of pictures. I'm sorry I didn't prepare them to show them to you. But to me, there's a significant contrast with regard to how a city like Pasadena is able to create an engagement that is vibrant in their downtown, and the comparative deficiency that I see in Glendale, especially as it comes to summer programs. Several years ago, as you know, I had been promoting that the redevelopment agency pay attention to and focus on Central Park, the area surrounding the Central Library, as an opportunity to recreate something similar to what the city already has at Bryant Park, a place for culture, a place where communities can come together, and a place that is accessible to all the communities, particularly around the central part of Glendale. And as you well know, since 2004, I had made an effort to try to persuade the City Council that a vision of a larger Central Park for these activities would be significantly beneficial in many ways, not just to enhance a cultural place that the city could be proud of, but also as a source of revenue that the city could tap into as you bring in the general public and from the other communities as well to create a more dynamic and permanent presence that would serve a lot of the downtown businesses as well. The current layout that you have for Central Park is incredibly bad. It's deficient, even though the building itself for the ARC is a nice building. It simply takes up too much of the green space for parking, and there's a significant amount of space out there that should have been used, in my opinion, to augment the experience of a Central Park. There is a park very similar to what we have here in Glendale, in the state of Washington, and I pay attention whenever I travel to take a look at what cities do, medium-sized cities with their central location. What I handed to you was an exchange of emails between Councilman, at that time Mayor Draymond, and myself, as I tried to remind him of the promises that he had given me concerning advocating for that Central Park. This, in a way, expresses to some extent my frustration and my betrayal that I feel with regard to someone who promised during the election and years prior to, that he advocated and supported this vision of creating for the other parts of Glendale a place where a community can come together and really create a cultural center, a center where you could have similar type activities that you find today in Pasadena at Veterans Park. So, starting, I believe, this week and all through the summer, there will be dozens and dozens of performances that are taking place in Pasadena, and I know that many of my friends here in Glendale go out there to basically watch those programs. But it also is a venue to put the communities together and to reduce some of the fractionalization that we have here in Glendale, a place where the communities can come together. But there is no place that is cultural other than Brand Park, in a place that is away from the center of town. And I think that creating places for the community in the heart of the city is essential. And it is my opinion that perhaps you can look into some of the funds that have now been considered for the expansion of the library, and perhaps we could reuse some of those funds to create truly a place-making location that can really serve the community as a whole. These emails would at least highlight the fact that I've been interested in this for a long time, and that we cannot depend on the local community to come in and fill these rooms, because by itself, on its own logic, I think it merits consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Mike Mohill?
Thank you, Chairman Manukian. My name is Mike Mohill. Going off of Mr. Milano's comments about the arts, we almost sing the same tune today. I'd like to go a little bit step further. Wilson and Brand, there's a big piece of land over there. Empty lot. Why can't the city buy that piece of real estate? When we talk about the Unity Festival, we could have a carnival there. We can have a lot of stuff in downtown Glendale. Now, I don't know how much that piece of land is, but if we reduce a couple of city pensions, I'm sure we can afford to buy it. Okay? So that's one idea that I think we should buy that piece of real estate. I'd like to know what's going to happen, the adult recreation center, when the city tore it down, and also the tennis courts. At the time, Councilman Nigerian said that tennis courts would be moved over to the high school, Glendale High School, and you're going to put new and rebuild the tennis courts over there. I'm reading in the papers now, we have no money for that. Promise made, promise not kept. Am I wrong? I don't know. I saw in the Sunday paper about the chalk festival over there in Pasadena. People were using chalk on the sidewalks and so forth. That city is a vibrant city. For a city like our size, we're not vibrant at all. We're actually kind of boring most of the time.
Don't say that.
Huh? Wait, pardon?
We're not boring.
Yeah, right. I don't know if you remember a councilman by the name Jack Day. His wife was Gertrude Day. Goes back in the 70s. And I remember her telling me that, Mike, compared to Pasadena, we have no culture, we have no art, and we're ugly. I said, Gertrude, how can you say that? I live in the beautiful Glendale Canyon. She says, that's right. Where you live is pretty. But the city refuses to put in trees, parks, parkways, setbacks in the buildings, even in downtown Glendale. Where are the green belts? You go to Pasadena and other places, there are lots of green belts, but not in Glendale. We have lots of concrete and buildings. What makes it a pretty place to live? Again, you promised the tennis courts for the people who played tennis. Okay? You destroyed the tennis courts that were there. Why didn't we buy the piece of property across the street for the churches for a green belt? And oh, by the way, I don't know if you folks remember this, but I was talking with, what's her name? Oh my gosh, she's passed away, council lady. Where the Ginger, where the library is. Originally, that was not supposed to be where the library was supposed to be. I was going to say it's as a park. And across the street from over here, like where, I think it's the security building, Security Bank, the corner of that, that's where they're going to put the library. But because the land was very inexpensive, like cheap, they put it over there. The city never expands its green belt. And for a city our size, south of the 134 freeway, lacks parks, green spaces. We can do better. We can do much better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohill.
Actually, I agree with the speakers that arts and culture have never been much of a focus in Glendale, with the exception of the Alex Theater and a few other programs, and that we do pale in comparison with some of our neighboring cities in terms of that, which is why I'm very glad that the next meeting today we're going to be talking about the Lemley Theater, which would do a great deal to bring art and culture to Glendale, and which they have in Pasadena, and it's a huge draw there. And also, I'm glad that we have moved forward with the Museum of Neon Art project, which will be our first museum in the city, and something that will hopefully help to, well, I know will help to change that trend. We also have the Arts in Vacant Storefront project. We have our second exhibition in the one space next to BJ's, and there are now exhibits along Broadway, and that's art for people to see as they walk around the city, and also a project that deals with blight, something that the redevelopment agency is charged to reduce, and that's a project that takes vacant, ugly, dark windows and turns them into bright, lit-up spaces that the public can enjoy. So I agree with you that it hasn't been a focus in the past, but I think it's been a focus in the last few years, and I hope that that will continue into the future. Thank you, Mr. Minucci.
Thank you. Any other comments? Actually, the ARC is in the redevelopment area, right? And that kind of, it is central?
It is just adjacent to the central project area. However, the redevelopment agency funded a good portion of the project.
I would like to see in a future meeting what the plans are for the green space next to the ARC. I'm not aware of what is going on there, or if there are any plans that are going forward. I'd like to have, at a future meeting, a discussion on that, please.
Not sure. The Community Services and Parks, I believe, is preparing a plan for that, and we'll bring it back for you.
All right.
Yeah, we have a construction proposal from the contractor for the ARC that's coming to you next week, if not the week after. So you'll see the specifications of the project then.
All right, thank you very much. I have no more cards for oral communications. We have no agenda, and any comments from staff or redevelopment agency members? See none. We have no new business. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned for the regular redevelopment agency meeting.